Hare Krishna. So today we'll discuss about Bhikshu Gita and we'll begin with the prayers. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupadamayyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Vatapad Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sadivam Sadhitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Ladita Shri Shakamatamsha नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठा भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रसारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पासादि स्थाने वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु एवं पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने वर्तसे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपिका गोपिका कांच राधा कांता नमस्ते तत्कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय नियाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलबुल सुभद्राभ्याम जगन्नाथाय ते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we'll discuss very important topic from Uddhav Gita that's known as Bhikshu Gita. So in 11th canto, chapter number 22, towards the end, Uddhava asks Krishna, that my dear Krishna, how is it possible that somebody can tolerate insults? And then Krishna speaks about the story of Avanti Brahmana. And he begins to say that really, uh, harsh words are more painful than arrows also. Rather, he says that for any person in this world, it's more easier to tolerate the arrows which go through the chest and directly pierce a person's heart. That's easier. But it's more difficult to tolerate the harsh words that are spoken by a low class person. So that's even more difficult. So in this way, Krishna appreciates Uddhava's question by saying, yeah, what you are saying is right, and really it's very, very difficult. So it's not so easy, even for saintly people, to tolerate harsh words. So that's exactly uh, what Lord speaks to Uddhavji. So in this way, uh, he tells the story of a Brahmana from Avanti in this regards. So he said that there was a Brahman in Avanti and he was very, very rich. But somehow he was very lusty, greedy, and prone to anger. And especially he was known for his greed. So that's why he accumulated a lot of wealth, but he didn't spend money either for dharma, artha, or kam also. What to say of moksha? What to say of spending it for dharma, artha, and kam? He didn't spend it even for the guests who would come to his house. He wouldn't receive them properly. And he wouldn't allow even his family members to enjoy that money properly. So he wouldn't use it for sense gratification also. And because of that, his family members hated him like anything. And because he didn't use that money for dharma, etc., So the demigods of various yagyas, they were also upset with him. And this Brahmana, he lost his piety. And the reason was that he didn't use it for dharma. And as soon as he lost his piety, his wealth was taken away. So wealth was taken away by some relatives. Thieves took away his wealth. They stole it away. Then Providence also took away the wealth. He made losses in many places. Then government authorities, they also took away his wealth in the form of taxes and etc. So this way, this person became devoid of wealth. And as soon as he became devoid of wealth, his family members also began to ignore him because he didn't allow them also to enjoy their wealth. So in this way, when he was ignored by his family members, he was extremely bereft of any sort of pleasure. Rather, his state was extremely painful. And in that painful state, he understood the defects of wealth. How wealth, it is cause of many uh, troubles in person's life. Person has wealth, he will spend it for wrong activities, etc. And then suddenly, a realization came in his heart. So he became very peaceful, sir. He became very peaceful from his painful state. And then he became a silent sannyasi, who's known as Mani Baba. So in this way, he kept his advancement concealed, he controlled his life affairs, he controlled his mind, and he just wandered about the earth. When he wandered about the earth, then people would just ridicule him because he didn't speak out his realization to anyone. So some people would make fun of him, saying that, oh, this great sage has come. Just see, he's so steady as Himalaya mountains. That's why he's not speaking anything. By practice of his silence, he strives for his goal with great determination like a duck. And in this way, people would speak all sort of words to make fun of him. Rather, sometimes people would even pass foul air at him, chain him and kept him like a bird. So sometimes people have these parrots, etc. in their cages. Similarly, people would bind him and keep him captive like that. So in this way, he was tortured by people in various ways, rather numberless ways. So that is how this particular person was getting tortured. But then how did he respond? That's very important. So bhoktavyam atmanodishtam praptam abuddhyata. So this Brahman accepted that all these miseries are just the result of my karma. Actually, this is a way how even devotees tolerate the miseries. Tatte nukampa susamikshmano bhunjan evatmakritam vipakam hedvagvabudbhir vidadhan namaste jivet yo mukti pade sadaiva. So a devotee considered the miseries as anukampa, the mercy of the Lord. Tatte anukampa susamikshmano. And he considers that the miseries which Krishna has given me are very, very less. So I was supposed to suffer that much, but now I'm suffering very little bit. And with his body, mind, and heart, he just surrenders to Krishna. So Lord Brahma says that such a person is a rightful heir for going back to Godhead. So Brahmana, he reconciled his mind like that. That is just a result of my misery. So result of my karma, my bad karma. So sadharmisto dhritim asaya sattvikim. So he remained very steady in his spiritual practices. So he was not just non-disturbed, He continued his spiritual practices as they were before. So he was not deterred at all. And then he spoke beautiful verses which compose of Bhikshu Gita, and which are personally taught by Lord Krishna to Uddhava. So he begins with speaking about his realization from this verse. Nayam jano me sukha dukkhe hetu na devatatma graha karma kalah mana param karanama mananti sansara chakram pravartayet. So he says, Nayam jano me sukha dukkhe hetu. So these people who are causing trouble to me are actually not the cause of my happiness and misery. Na devata, demigods are also not the cause. Atma, I myself am not the cause of my misery. Graha, some people say, no, these planets are bad. They are not the cause of my misery. Karma, my own bad karma, that is not also not the cause of misery. Alaha, even the time factor, some people say, some that time is not good. Even that is not the cause. So then what is the cause? Mana param karanam amananti. Mind is the main cause. And because of this mind, we are caught up in this material existence. Sansara chakram pravati. And further, we'll see that in detail, we will tell that how mind is the cause and there is no other causes. There are no other causes. And at the end, he tells the solution also. So he tells that how this mind, which is a product of goodness, during creation we will find that when Mahatattva ignorance, that's false ego, when it interacts with mode of goodness, then from that mind arises. So mind by nature is in mode of goodness, but when a living entity starts planning for sense gratification, planning for enjoyment, so the same mind becomes influenced by mode of passion and ignorance. So in this way, mind actuates the function of material modes. So mind has unfulfilled desires, and all those desires, they actuate the function of material modes. And when these material modes, they become activated, then person starts identifying with various characteristics of life. For example, person in goodness starts thinking, I am wise, peaceful, etc. The person in passion starts thinking, no, no, I'll get success one day, and one works very, very hard. Sometimes you find in this world that I personally know some of the people. So they do more than one jobs. Some people even do three jobs. So they work for 8 hours, that's not enough. Then they go in the evening, they work for another one. And the weekend they take some other jobs. So people struggle. And they are proud of it. They are proud of it. And some people who are in ignorance, so they become very cruel, lazy, sinful. So that is how people start identifying with various status of life. And various status of life means having various bodies. But compared to that, Avanti Brahman says that as far as super soul is concerned, super soul doesn't struggle. Why he doesn't struggle? Because he is transcendentally enlightened that I am different from this body. So although both the soul and super soul are situated in the region of heart, super soul, soul struggles because he starts embracing the mind and has desire for enjoyment within the mind. But as far as super soul is concerned, he is not there to enjoy it. And so he doesn't identify with the mind, senses, etc., which compose the gross and the subtle bodies. So in this way, conditioned soul embraces the mind, he engages in sense gratification, and that is how a person becomes entangled. But a super soul remains aloof, although both of them are situated at the same place in the Brahman. And then our Brahman goes on to say that things like charity, prescribed duties, they all are meant to subdue the mind. For example, charity. So in general, person influenced by mode of passion, so he has a tendency to be very attached to money. But when a person starts giving charity, so then the attachment reduces. Yeah. Attachment reduces. It's easier to control the mind because mind is more peaceful and situated in mode of goodness. So charity, duty, etc., are aimed to subdue the mind or control the mind. But if somebody is doing all these things and the mind is not controlled, then all such charity, prescribed duties, etc., are useless. Because sometimes people too much identify with the mind. For example, we have seen sometimes people who are very rich. One of our devotees in Calcutta was cultivating a very rich lady. So she had no problems in life. So it's like she belonged to a very rich family, she had a lot of money. Children were very obedient. And despite that, she was telling that, I don't know, Swamiji, he was telling our devotees, Swamiji, that I don't know why I feel so insecure and no, why I remain so miserable. So then the devotee said, why do you remain miserable? No, sometimes I see that no, all my other friends, they're going here and there, and I have that opportunity, but not like them. And that's why I become very miserable. So basically, she was actually extremely wealthy, but then she was looking at other people who were more wealthier than her. And because of that envy, she was not happy. So, because she was charitable, etc., she got a very good family. But despite that, because mind was troubled by seeing opulence of others, so that is how she was suffering. So then what he says, what is the solution? Solution is that we concentrate the mind on the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is so attractive that one's senses become fully satisfied when one concentrates one mind on the Supreme Lord. So that is how there is a solution. And then this Brahmana goes on to say that actually mind is the master of senses. So as we had read in body chariot analogy, the body is compared to chariot, horses are compared to the senses, and the reins are compared to mind. So in this way, horses are controlled by the reins. And of course, the chariot driver is the intelligence, and so is the passenger. So if one can control the reins using one's intelligence, or the chariot driver can control the reins using one's strength, so horses go to the desired destination. But if he cannot properly control the reins, then horses go in different direction, and chariot also goes in different direction, not in the desired direction. So similarly, when a person can control the mind, he can control the senses also. So that is how just by controlling mind one can easily control the senses. But unfortunately in this world, rather than controlling the mind, people try to control their enemies, friends, and things of this world. So if one can control the mind, one can control everything. So I got one more experience like that. So when I was going from Calcutta to Puri in a train, so it was a AC coach, and the person in the train, he was giving water bottles. So one of the passengers, so he became very upset with this man, saying that, "Oh, I want cold water. This is hot water. This is not like good. This is not fit. And you people should give cold water, not the hot water." And other people also get the same water, and they were like content by saying, "Okay, anyway, there is AC." So after some time, the water will become cold. So this person, this waiter basically in the train, so he took this bottle and said that, "Okay, after some time I'll give you cold water." And he just disappeared. And this man was so restless. Here and there, you are looking for this man here, there, asking everyone, "Where is that man? Where is that man?" And finally, this person was restless almost for 1 2 hours. And other people were engaged in sometimes, playing with children, playing with the kids. Some people were reading books. Some people were talking on phones, etc. And this man was very restless. After almost 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, practically, this man saw this waiter who took the water, and he went and he told that, "No, I'll complain to the TT." This man and said that, "I'll complain to the VT, and no, you lose your job," and this and that. And then the waiter caught his feet saying, "Oh no, we have a family. I have wife and son. What will I do? No, huh. uh, if I don't have, if I lose the job." And finally, this man said that, "Okay, I'm leaving you now, and but don't do the same mistake from the next time." And within 10 minutes, his station came. He got down from the train. So that the time I was thinking that this man could have just tolerated this so-called not cool water, and he would have controlled his mind, he would have saved himself from so much of misery. So of course, externally speaking, whatever is required to uh, like create a proper system, one should do that. No, we are not discouraging that, but internally one should be content after doing the best. So that is how now, like by controlling mind, one can save oneself from so much of misery. So mind, the material mind, that causes bodily identification because mind has a lot of unfulfilled desire. And when the living entity has a desire to enjoy, so he starts identifying with body. Why? Because body is the medium to enjoy or suffer. And as soon as one identifies with the body, one is caught up in this concept of I and mine. He starts thinking, I'm this body, and things belonging to this body, like my wife, my children, my job, my country, my home, car, all these things are mine. And based on this concept of I and mine, person starts performing various actions. And when one performs various actions, then one gets pious or impious reactions for those actions. So for pious actions, one gets an opportunity to enjoy. For impious actions, one to suffer. And they get manifested in form of a material body, another body. And in the another body, again a person tries with identifies with that body, and again performs, uh, again gets the concept of I and mine and performs fruitive actions. So that is how person gets caught up in this material existence because of material mind. So that is how material mind is the main cause of one's suffering. So this is how Avanti Brahman identifies with it. And now he starts defining the uh, various people or various factors, which we had read before also, how they are not the cause of suffering. And he establishes how mind is the actual cause of suffering. Hmm. So, like for example, first one is Nayam Janome. Janome means people around me who are giving me sufferings, they are the cause of suffering. So then it says that if these people are causing a cause of suffering, then where is the cause of where is the place for the soul? Because it's like one body attacking another body, but soul has nothing to do with the body at all. That means misidentification with the body is the prime cause of suffering. And he gives an analogy for that. Like for example, sometimes when we eat and while eating, if we try to speak, at least I had this experience many, many times. But sometimes we bite our tongue. So then whom should we blame? Should we break the teeth saying, oh, it is a cause of pain? Or we start blaming the tongue saying, because you are so smooth, so you are the sufferer of the pain. So we don't blame any of them because they are the part of the same body. Similarly, whether one person who is harming other person or the person who is harmed, in one sense, both of them are energies of the Lord. So, in one sense, we can say that both are the parts of the same body. And actually speaking, how can one person give suffering to other? Because both of them are really suffering. They're already suffering. Why are they suffering? Because they have denied their constitutional position as being eternal servant of Krishna. So as soon as one starts thinking that I'm someone separate from Krishna, then one is captured by Maya and one suffers like anything in this world. So really speaking, both of them are suffering. So he says that's why the prime cause is misidentification with the mind, because of which both the person who's giving pain and person who is experiencing pain, both of them are suffering. So the problem is not other people, it's misidentification with the mind. And then na devata. Devata means demigods. So many times people say that it is one is suffering because demigods of various senses are giving suffering. So again, if demigods are the cause of suffering, then where is the question of where the place for the spirit soul? Huh? So it's like one demigod giving suffering or attacking another demigod. For example, if somebody is punching somebody's mouth, so demigod of hand is Indra, demigod of tongue or you can say mouth is Agni. So and Indra is like demigod for all the hands and Agni is demigod for all the mouths. So it's like one demigod punishing another demigod. So then why soul has to worry about it? Huh? Like uh, it's like fight between the identities of the senses. Hmm. Like, for example, one limb of the body attacks another limb of the body. Hmm. Then why should I be angry with that limb? So the what is where does the problem lie? So problem is neither with body, with the senses, or the sense demigods. Hmm. Rather, again, Uddhav Gita, there is another verse which says, Chayev karma sachiva sadhavo dinvatsalaha. So it is in the, I think, 10th canto. So Chayev karma sachiva, these demigods, they are like shadows of our karma. So they can't give anything more than the karma or lesser than the karma. So from that logic also, demigods are not the cause of our suffering. Which is they are not the cause of suffering. And then somebody may say, okay, not Devata, but I am the cause of my suffering. Atma. So then he says, that even I am not the cause of my suffering and distress. Huh? Why? Because if suffering and happiness were the nature of soul, then it's like we accept it as a eternal reality. It's like something which is naturally happening to me. That's not called a suffering. Something which is not natural and happens to me, then it's called suffering. Like, for example, uh, naturally, I like now my body is fit for the temperature of 25 degrees, 30 degrees. So then, if the temperature is 25, 26, 27, or 29, 29, I don't say it's very hot, 25, I don't say it's very cold. Because it's natural for me. But as soon as it becomes beyond that, then I call it a suffering. Similarly, something external causes the suffering, not something natural. So, like brick, stone, etc., they don't experience any suffering because they're innate by nature. Similarly, soul can't suffer from any external source if happiness and distress are part of soul suffering. But the actual reality is that soul is Satchidananda. So nobody can give suffering to the soul. So that means we can't say that soul is suffering. So then what is causing the suffering? Because as far as metal body is concerned, it is material. It cannot suffer. Soul being spiritual cannot suffer in its pure state. So soul's misidentification with the mind and body is the actual cause of soul suffering. So then why should we blame ourselves also? I did like this and that's why it happened. No. Because I'm identifying with the body, that's why I'm suffering. That is the main cause. Atma. Then grahas. So some people say, no, Rahu is not working, Rahu is not good, in a good state. Or Sunny, अच्छा नहीं चल रहा है, Sunny is not good. That's why I'm suffering. So these planets can cause suffering and happiness to the body, not the soul. So that's why, how can planets cause any suffering to the eternal soul? Because planets affect the body, not the soul. So that means planets are also not the cause of suffering. So what is the cause of suffering? Misidentification of the body because of mind. Similarly, some people say karma is the cause of suffering. So, like some people say, because I did some sins in the past, that's why I'm suffering. Still, we are not dealing with the soul. Because body has no life, so it can't receive any happiness and distress because it's dead. Like we may put a gulab jamun on stone, stone will not be happy. And even if you break the stone, it will not be distressed because it has no consciousness. Similarly, gross and subtle bodies have no consciousness. They can't experience suffering. Similarly, soul is considered concerned. It is spiritual and aloof. So soul cannot suffer. And karma would work only if it would affect both unconscious mental body and conscious soul. But really speaking, uh, it's not like that. So then what is the cause of suffering? Because of mind, we identify with the body, that is the time cause of suffering. Then some people say, Kalha, समय अच्छा नहीं चल रहा है, time is very bad, my good bad time is going on. But even time cannot cause suffering. Why? Because both time and soul are energy of the Lord. So like fire can't burn down the flames, or cold can't harm the snowflakes from, because it is the cause of the cold. So similarly, we are energy of Krishna, time is energy of Krishna. So then how can time affect us? Actually speaking, spirit soul is transcended to both material happiness and distress. So then what is the cause of suffering? Misidentification in the mind, which causes misidentification in the body, which creates I and mind, and that is the cause of suffering. So basically you are suffering in illusion. So in this way, he counterates all the six so-called causes of suffering. So then he says, what is the actual cause of suffering? Actual cause of suffering is false ego. This false ego gives shape to illusory material existence, or because of mind, which has desire to enjoy, one identifies with the false ego. Because of false ego, one starts identifying with the body, and then when there is some positive changes in the body, we call it happiness. When there are some negative changes in the body, we call it distress. We are talking about both gross and subtle bodies. Something desirable we got, we call it happiness. Something undesirable, we call it distress. So living entity identifies the body to enjoy, but when you enjoy, then you have to experience or accept the suffering also. So that is how one becomes overwhelmed by because of this misidentification. And then one creates his own world of I and mind. One enjoys, one suffers, one creates further fruitive activities, which leads to another body. And that is how a person is caught up in this world. So it's like a child who is very much addicted to video games. So let us say he's playing a video game of a racing car. So he has nothing to do with car. But then if his car crashes, he feels sad. And if his car wins, he feels that he has won. So this is misidentification. Yeah. So we can take another example also. Like for example, if somebody is watching something on television, and he got a new car in the garage, and suddenly he has a sound. The glass of the car is broken. So person will naturally fold his sleeves, come out of the window, and then he sees it's not my car, it's neighbor's car, which some children have broken. So then what he says is, oh, children keep on playing and sometimes they break the car, glass of the car. We should not take it very seriously. So he's not affected because it's not his car, it's neighbor's car. So whatever comes in the circle of I and my, that causes us pleasure and suffering. So the actual truth is, super soul is transcendental to material nature. So he's never affected by material happiness and distress. And a person who understands that, he will be free from the metal creation. But is it so easy to uh, just not identify with the body? So Vishwanath Thakur in one of the purports says, no. Like a person who is haunted by the ghost. For example, he starts feeling that uh, I am king of this place. So we know one person, it's like in Calcutta. No, he got some mental derangement. So he thought I am the Prime Minister of India. So he was going by the road and stopping all the cars. And another devotee was taking this madman actually. So when he had to explain to everyone, "Oh, he's mad and he's feeling like that." So if we try to convince that person, no, you are not the Prime Minister of India, he won't agree. So how can this person be treated? He has to be given some specialized medicines. So similarly, the solution is also given by Avanti Brahmana. एतां स आस्थाय परात्मनिष्ठाम् आध्यासितं पूर्वतमैर्महर्षिभिः अहं तरिष्यामि दुरन्तपारं तमो मुकुन्दाङ्घ्रिसेव्ययेव. So aham tarisyami durantaparam. I'll cross over this insurmountable ocean of material existence. How? By taking shelter of lotus feet of Lord Mukunda. And how are you confirmed that you will cross over the ocean of material existence? Because I will follow the footsteps of the previous acharyas who came out of this bodily consciousness. Now, how they by taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So Paratmanishtam. Paratma means it refers to Paramatma. So they had great faith in Paramatma or Supreme Lord, and they took shelter of that Paramatma or Supreme Lord, and they crossed over this material existence. So I will take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet like them, and I will also cross over the Krishna material existence. So we know that we have to control the mind, and best way to control the mind is to follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. So that is the solution given by Avanti Brahman. And in this way, so we can learn how to control the mind. Thank you. So basically, Avanti Brahman has given the, or he has proven that how mind is the main cause, not my body, not body means myself, not the demigods, etc. Systematically, he also explains how we are caught up in this world because of mind. And at the end, he gives the solution. The solution is to follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas in perform devotion service. So in this way, we will not identify with the mind, and we can cross over this insurmountable ocean of material existence and engage eternally in our constitutional position as eternal servants of Krishna. So thank you very much. So we end our talk here. Nantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Bhikshu Gita ki jai, Uda Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.